In Limpopo, Premier Stanley Mathabatha will today deliver his last stage of the province address. In Polokwane, the province is experiencing challenges with water supply and roads infrastructure. Katlego Nyoni is covering the story for us. We cross now live to him. Katlego, good morning to you. Of course, final SOPA for Premier Mathabatha. What's the mood like there?
Certainly, Unati, good morning, and to our viewers as well. Yes, indeed, this is Premier Stan Mathabatha's last State of the Province address after he took over as Premier of Limpopo back in 2014. He has delivered 10 State of the Province addresses. This will be his final one. He will likely reflect on his legacy, looking at some of the achievements he has maintained, achievements such as maintaining that the province doesn't have departments that are under disclaimer. Of course, there are issues of service delivery that he always touches on, issues concerning, like you pointed out in the introduction, road infrastructure. We understand in Limpopo there's about 14,000 kilometers of road that is yet to be tarred, that remains graveled. Community members in those areas have been complaining, Unati, about the state of services. Now, water always is a huge challenge for Limpopo. The Premier maintains that the challenges there lie with issues of reticulation. On the economic front, there are issues pertaining to economic growth that the province plans to realize, such as attracting investment in areas like Musina Makhado. However, those processes have been halted at the Musina Makhado Special Economic Zone. Unati, there's also issues pertaining to under expenditure by government departments. According to the Democratic Alliance in Limpopo, the department has underspent some of its budget, including departments like Treasury, which has underspent 14 million according to the Democratic Alliance, as well as big departments like the Education as well as Health Department, underspending more than 500,000. But the office of the Premier in the province denies this allegation, saying that they did not underspend their budget and they maintained that they used that budget towards the delivery of service. Now, Premier Limpopo is expected to arrive at the Jack Bottas Hall, where he's expected to deliver that State of the Province address at 11 in the morning. Right now, guests are starting to arrive, walking on the red carpet, but I am joined by the provincial spokesperson for Limpopo, that is Mr. Ndabe Ramakwela. A very good morning. Thank you for joining us on SABC News. What can people expect from Stanley Mathabatha's last State of the Province address? We know throughout the years, we've seen, for example, Mathabatha highlighting several issues pertaining to service delivery and making promises. In terms of his vision, what would you say the Premier has been able to achieve to this point?
Good morning, Katlego, and to all the viewers. We are indeed looking forward to the speech by the Premier of Limpopo. Part of it is to look back into the legacy of his 10 years at the helm of the provincial government. And of course, one of the things that he will speak to are issues related to clean governance, as you have mentioned, and particularly looking at bringing the administration into a coherence. There are a number of areas where until 2019, departments were failing to obtain clean audits. And by that time, we had about 4 departments that were consistently from 2019 getting clean audits. And that has become a norm. And as you have said as well, he's going to reflect a lot about the 30 years of what Limpopo has become. Has the life of Limpopo people changed since 1994? And he's quite buoyant about it and pleased that Limpopo is never the same. It's not the rural province that we often thought about, because the structures and issues like homes that you see are not the same as they were. The Rondavel huts that we were accustomed to back in 1994 have changed drastically, and he attributes this to the economic conditions of Limpopo that have changed a lot. But what he is also going to look at is the general stability that a government has brought in the province, and having one person for that consistent time seems to have done a lot better for this province. Of course, there are a number of areas that you still want to acknowledge we could have done better, but we are still doing very well. He's going to talk more about what we have done with electricity, what we have done also about water service provision, which to a greater extent, because of the increased population, households have increased from 989,000 to over 1.8 million within this period of time, which shows that there's a greater need as well to supply services in those particular areas. But spent here, and hoping that what he has put as a foundation will continue when the next 7th administration comes to place.
And are these some of the major service delivery areas or issues that he's going to hand over to the incoming administration, of course, following the elections?
Yes, the biggest concern that he has and that he's going to talk about are the issues of water. Although we are not, as a provincial government, we will play a coordinating function with the water authorities, with the departments that are dealing with it, but it's the citizens of Limpopo who get affected. We had at some point gone up to 80% of provision of water, but that has dropped to 69%, and he feels that that's an area that we need to work hard on. The new administration should look into it. There are issues that dealing with gender-based violence and femicide, that he feels that it's a pandemic that we should fight against as a province, but also to bring back gender stability in terms of crime and safety and security in the province. Those are the things that he feels there's still work that we have to do going forward into the 7th administration.
Thank you very much. That's the provincial spokesperson for the Limpopo government, Ndaba Ramakwela, highlighting some of the issues that the premier of the province, Stanley Mathabatha, will hand over to the incoming administration following the elections.